The sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof. Welcome to Breakfast with Bob Championship Edition. We just finished up the first ever Challenge Atlantic City and our champion, Fredrik Croneborg. Freddie, congratulations, man. That's a huge win.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this is the biggest achievement in my career.
So, in terms of the day, were you where you wanted to be with the swim? I mean, it was actually a pretty good pro field.
Yeah, and for me, I really only knew about Maka because I raced him before. And Dylan, I also know. And also I heard about Scott, that he's a really fast runner. The rest of the US guys, I was not really sure.
Right.
But I realized quite quickly in the swim, we are quite a big group.
Yeah.
So...
with Dylan off the front.
Yeah, Dylan off the front, so I was quite happy because I knew nobody can stay with him. So I was quite happy to be in the second group. And but I think second half of the swim is split up a little bit, and I almost got dropped. But I had a quite quick transition, so I was out with Maka and a few other guys. So I think it was. Yeah, I was quite happy beginning of the bike.
So with Maka, you live in Tanyapura or in that area, and you live in Laguna Phuket. Did you have a sense that the Maka wasn't full on ready to go this long a race?
I know he's far from his best shape, but I also know if he, like in Japan last month, he sprint finished me. And
he outsprinted you.
Yeah, he outsprinted me. I think he's a bit older, but he's still fast. Or maybe I'm slow.
I don't think so.
But he's very tricky. I think if he can taste the win,
yes,
and then he is dangerous. So I never count him out, even if he's talking that he's really out of shape. So you always have to be careful with him.
So this, for a lot of people, this would feel hot, but you're training in Laguna Phuket. And you've been training in Asia for a while. How did it feel for you out there?
For me, I think compared to other races I've done, it's not any special heat for me.
Right.
But I think actually in the beginning of the bike it was almost a little bit chilly.
Chilly,
but
it was probably 85. Yeah.
Yeah, but and also I think a little bit less humid than I'm used to. But on the run you could feel the sun was quite strong. So. I think, of course, maybe I would have been a little bit more fresh if it was a little bit cooler, but I think compared to other people, it's just better if it's...
A little hot.
Yeah, a little hot.
Little hot. So this is your first ever win at an iron distance race?
Yes.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's a really... Yeah, as I said, maybe this is my biggest achievement so far.
Do you feel this is a good distance for you? So, are you better at this, do you think, than at the 70.3 or the half?
Yeah, I waited quite late before I stepped up to Ironman, but I think I always knew Ironman is my best distance because I think I have more endurance than speed. So, yeah.
And you're built to run fast.
Yeah, I think also when I was a little bit younger, maybe 10 years ago, I was a little bit faster. But I think my strength now is that even if I get really tired, I can still keep a quite good pace. I think that's what's made me win today. I think, I could keep the pace the last 10, 15K.
Well, talk a little about Scott DeFilippis, who's a really good runner too.
Yeah.
And when the two of you sort of came together, I was thinking, wow, this could be a back and forth race all the way to the finish.
Yeah, I thought when he catched me the first time, I thought almost the race was over because I know he's really good runner and he had the home course and he looked really strong. I think I had maybe a little bit hope that he had to work a bit hard to catch me.
Yeah.
Because I think he started maybe a few minutes behind, maybe 3-4 minutes. So I think he had to work a bit. And I realized after a while that I only lost maybe once he passed me, I could stay around 20 meters behind him. And slowly I also could reel him in a little bit. And eventually I passed him and I thought he was just playing to save some energy and stay behind me. But after a while he dropped off, and I think eventually I heard that, nowhere to be
He
seen.
lost a couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is an inaugural race, and anytime it's a race that hasn't been happened before, there can be issues out there with the traffic, with roads being blocked off. What did you think of the course itself?
I think the course was excellent. I didn't see any. I mean, I can only talk for myself,
Sure.
but I didn't see any accidents or
Right.
things that went wrong. So I think it was really well organized, and I think I had some experience maybe earlier this season. I took wrong turns on the bike, and
Sure.
but I think I felt it was really well marked, and nothing to complain about.
You talked about, I think was it in Shanghai or wherever you've run before, you're sort of used to weaving through people when you go out for a run.
Yeah, I think Shanghai is much worse than here in the boardwalk, and I think maybe this experience paid off a little bit. But I when I was living in Shanghai, you don't have much option. One option is to run on the street, and you have to fight with the cars and the
Right.
motorbikes, and so usually I run in a park. I had a 2K loop, but it's crowded with the people, so you really have to weave through the crowds.
So when you're doing a race like this, I mean, I don't know how many times you've run on wood before, on a boardwalk. How did that feel running on that? Because you did a number of loops, and each loop was 4 miles. So you ran a lot on the wood. It seemed like it was a little bouncy. It looked like it was maybe a little softer than running on concrete or cement.
Yeah, I had experience from Challenge Taiwan. Is
that on
but
board?
but I think it's only in Challenge Taiwan. Maybe it's only 10-15K of the course on the wood. But I really loved it when I raced in Taiwan. So
yeah.
I was really excited when I heard and I think even a few days ago they changed the course a little bit, so it was even more run on the boardwalk.
More boardwalk.
Yeah, so for me, I think this is really good.
And is this the type of, now that you've seen this, do you think this is a type of race? I think a lot of people sit back and don't come to a first-time event. They sort of want to see if it's going to go off well. From your perspective, is this a race that you recommend to other people?
Yeah, for sure. I think Atlantic City is really nice.
Yeah.
And especially with the boardwalk.
Yeah.
And me and my girlfriend, we also took the opportunity to visit Philadelphia. We did the Rocky steps.
Oh, did you do the Rocky steps?
Rocky steps.
Yes.
So
did you run up?
Yeah. We made a little movie running up, and it's a motivational movie. So you can check it out on YouTube.
I will watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, it's good.
So just like Rocky,
exactly.
People weren't that much. People saying that nobody was saying. People were saying you were going to be a factor, but for you to win, you're sort of like Rocky today.
Yeah.
Nobody knocked you down though.
No, nobody could knock me down today.
I love that. What's next for you? What's the rest of your season?
Next is probably a race in France. It's called Embrunman.
Oh, I've heard great things about that.
It's a really tough iron distance race in the Alps.
Also, another iron distance. When is that?
It's 1.5 months from now. It's mid-August.
So 6 weeks to recover.
Yeah, 6 weeks recover. So I will go back now to Europe, Sweden and Germany.
Okay.
And spend time with family and start preparing for the France race.
So what do you think people are thinking back in Sweden? Were people following you and knowing you were doing this race?
Yeah, I think, I raced a lot in Sweden more than 10 years ago. And I think now it's a little bit new generation of triathletes in Sweden.
Yeah.
And I think many people, they don't really know me. They just maybe seen my name because I think I haven't raced in Sweden for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking, who is this Swedish guy who's...
This is Fredrik guy who we don't know, we've never seen before.
Exactly. So I think maybe this year I seen some interest. There's some podcasts and some other websites. I want to make some interviews. So I think maybe I'm getting a little bit known in Sweden as well now.
Now, I think you mentioned before that when you were living in Sweden, you felt there was more pressure on you to do well because you were, you're the Swedish guy and they sort of expect you to do well. Is it nicer not living? I mean, not nicer not living, but is it easier not having that pressure when you're living in Asia? You probably don't have that pressure.
Yeah, I think maybe now I built up a name in Asia and maybe it's similar pressure here. But I think also when you're younger, I think maybe sport is everything for you. And I think now when I started triathlon again, I told myself I should not take it too serious.
Yeah.
Even if I I want to do well, but I don't want to have the same situation that I feel too much
Right.
anxiety before
Sure.
the race, and then it's not really fun anymore.
What I love is the fact that you came here, you went to Philadelphia, you saw the city, you're sort of taking advantage. You're not just going to a race and sitting in a hotel and worried about the race. You're going out and enjoying being wherever you are.
Yeah, so I think this is one of the criterias for me to pick a race. It's I want warm weather.
Warm
and
weather is
weather,
good, yeah.
and nice locations, and I think. And for this race, I was not really sure before because I also would like to be competitive, and I wasn't really sure because I heard it's mainly flat race, and
You'd rather have a little climbing.
yeah, as a smaller guy, my previous races it's been really hard and a lot of climbing, so I wasn't really sure how I would do in this race, but I think it fit all the criteria for me now.
And the other cool part, besides the prize money, is you get an all-expenses-paid trip to Bahrain, Challenge Bahrain, which is in December, and we'll have a huge prize purse. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I never been to the Middle East, and I heard Makkah and some friends they visit Bahrain before.
Yes.
And I really look forward to it, and maybe. Yeah, let's see how competitive I'll be in the race. It's a half distance, and I think the world's best will be there, all the IT
Yeah,
guys.
no questions. Everybody will be there.
But for me, I get a free trip, and I think I can also enjoy it.
I love it. So now your new nickname is Rocky. You know that.
Yeah, or Little Mac. You know Punch Out, the Nintendo game?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a character. The guy in the game is Little Mac, so I think maybe it fits me better.
Little Mark?
Little Mac.
Little Mac.
Yeah, Little Mac.
Little Mac. Okay, so we're speaking with Little Mac. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob Championship Edition. We're at Challenge Atlantic City with the beautiful Atlantic Ocean and boardwalk behind us. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
And your shoes get so hot, you wish your tires